20 years before the launch of YouTube, tuning shops partnered with tuner magazines and illegal street racers in Japan to produce one of the most legendary viral car videos in history. The video would go on to cement careers, create massive media franchises, and ultimately resulted in an entirely new motorsport. And it was all done with one of the most unlikely cars anyone could have imagined at the time, the Toyota Corolla. The AE86 Corolla was not what anyone would think of as a desirable sports car. Slow, cheap, and basically a commuter car used for delivering food rather than delivering wins. So how could a car with 128 horsepower, 110 foot-pounds of torque, and a 0 to 60 time of 8.5 seconds go on to be one of the most iconic and desired cars in the world? It's all thanks to a single name, Keiichi Tsuchiya. Today on Past Gas, who is the Drift King? How did drifting go from legitimate track technique to illegal underground activity and back to legitimate motorsport? And how did a small series of VHS tapes go on to change the automotive world forever? This is Past Gas on Keiichi Tsuchiya and Pluspy, the viral car video that inspired a generation.
Past Gas Podcast. It's about cars, it's not about forts.
Big thanks to ShipStation for sponsoring this episode of Past Gas. Make the new year your best year and grow your business with ShipStation. Use promo code PASTGAS today at ShipStation.com to sign up for your free 60-day trial. That's ShipStation.com, promo code PASTGAS.
Big thank you to our sponsor this week, Rocket Money. Stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/gas. That's rocketmoney.com/gas. Again, rocketmoney.com/gas.
You guys hear that?
What?
Do you hear Fat Nick on the roof?
So we're recording this. This is the second last thing that we are making before we take a break for the holidays.
Yes.
And I think, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I hear the jingle jangle of Big Fat Nick's
and
bells.
the surprisingly dense clumps on the roof.
Yeah.
Clack, clack, clack.
Yeah.
Clack, clack, clack. Here's Fat Nick.
Yeah. Here's Fat Nick. He's got his dogs. They're pulling his chair. He's coming around. Big Fat Nick.
Oh, shit. He dropped something down the chimney.
Oh, what is this?
Oh, wow. Let's see what it is.
Whoa,
Whoa.
It's a disc.
Dude, you got another disc
A
to
disc
chop.
graph.
That's from Santa.
A disc graph zone.
That's from
Thank
Santa
you.
Tommy.
Santa Tommy. Thank you, Tommy. Hell yeah. I've been wanting this
We
for
did
a while.
a Secret Santa with discs.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be able to make it on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So this is slowly becoming a disc golf
Yeah, sorry. I don't want to
against my will because I don't play disc golf because I don't like activities.
Yeah, you should come out with us sometime, James. It's
I
fun.
don't like activities.
This one's got hearts
You know
on
what
it.
I like doing? Eating dinner.
That's an activity.
That's the only thing I like doing. So if you're my friend and you want to hang out with me, let's get dinner.
Well, how about
You ever
this?
eat dinner
We
for
usually
breakfast?
I eat dinner with you.
We usually
Hang
get
out with you and your gal, me and my gal.
big lunch
we got
or dinner after playing. So
Yeah.
Maybe I'll meet up with you guys.
today we are discussing the Drift King himself, Keiichi.
Keiichi.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about this guy a lot. He comes up in a lot of stories.
Yeah.
He's like a very Lee Iacocca,
Yeah.
Carol Shelby.
Super influential.
Guy who just is sort of involved in a lot of automotive history. He was a technical director on Initial D.
Mm-hmm.
There's a relatively confirmed rumor that Takume was based on
Yeah. Except he used to deliver car parts in his dad's car, but it wasn't tofu.
Tofu is like more likable.
And you get a little jiggle. Like he did, there's some story, it'll probably pop up in this, but of him driving with like a cup of water or something and not trying to spill it and be super smooth.
Yeah, I mean, that's in the
show,
pilot
the
of
first episode.
Initial D,
Yeah.
If you go into the depths of YouTube and watch a lot of like Japanese drifting videos, you probably have seen Mr. Tsuchiya in his signature green jumpsuit.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
He's also, we talked about him in the Fast and Furious episode, he was had a little cameo.
That's right. He was the fisherman in Tokyo Drift. That's right. So very influential guy. Basically.
Some might say he invented drifting.
Some might say he helped popularize it, of course. Like really helped bring it into the mainstream. As we'll get into the origins of drifting in this episode. It's pretty interesting. I'm excited to talk about this guy. It's been a while since we talked about Japan on the show.
Yeah. The fans demanded it.
Yes.
So the JDM episodes do really well. We hear you loud and clear. We'll do some more in 2023.
All right. Hey, yeah, sorry. I got to introduce the show. My name is Nolan Sykes. I'm joined by my co-hosts. We got Joe Weber across from me.
What's up? Monumental week. Wink Wink Nation signed a treaty with the state of Minneapolis or Minnesota.
Oh,
sorry. I was not in the talks.
Dude.
I was not in the talks. I just signed off on it. But
Thanks for your time.
We've also Wisconsin and Minnesota have shaken hands over this.
Also joining us is James Pumphrey. Hello,
I love
James.
all 50, baby. I love all 50.
Nice. That's really mean of you to Puerto Rico.
Okay. I love
all 50
plus the territories.
Yeah.
Shouts to Guam.
Yes.
Shouts to PR.
Yes.
I've been to
you
Puerto
didn't
Rico,
mention
dude.
American Samoa at all, so it's pretty crazy.
I wasn't done. I made an entire video on our YouTube channel. If you want to see it, check it out on American Samoa. I'm also not sure how any of those places feel about our presence there. So if you guys aren't down with us, then like I'm still down with you. You know what I mean? Like I don't like imperialism, not my thing. Colonization, I don't do it.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't rock with us, then you can still rock with me and I rock with you. So
well said.
Nice.
Well said.
Very succinct.
All right. So let's talk about some drifting here. All right. Yeah. We like drifting. We built 2 drift cars. Let's do it. 3 now. Yeah. All right. So drifting is so intrinsically linked to Japanese car culture that it's hard to imagine its roots being anywhere else. But if we peer past the 1980s, we can find evidence of drifting as early as the 1930s, guys. The 30s in the
You remember the
Depression.
30s?
Yes.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby.
Back then, race cars, even those from top-end manufacturers like Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, and Mercedes-Benz, simply didn't have a lot of horsepower. Even legendary cars like the Alfa Romeo P3, the first single-seat Grand Prix race car, sported a supercharged 3-liter inline 8-cylinder engine that could barely crack 200. Though, at the time, I'll argue that was
a lot.
But compared to today, not a lot. So in order to maintain speed through the turns on the track, drivers would often allow their cars to slide, which kept their speed up without braking and wasting precious seconds, albeit at the cost of tires.
Those tires sucked back then.
That was also part of the problem, I think. Yeah, they were using bias ply tires.
Bias ply didn't have a lot of...
the rubber compounds weren't super soft.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. It has been argued by Enzo Ferrari himself that the inventor of the 4-wheel slide cornering technique was Tazio Nuvolari, a motorcycle racer turned auto racing champion who Ferdinand Porsche described as the greatest driver of the past, present, and the future. Never heard of him. No, I'm kidding. We've mentioned Nuvolari before. And if compliments from 2 automotive titans like the founders of Ferrari and Porsche aren't enough to impress, let's take a look at Tazio's legacy of wins. He had 24 Grand Prix victories, 5 Cappuccianos, 2 Millimiglias.
I love cappuccino.
Yeah, I had about 5 cappuccianos this morning. I'm freaking out, and I got diarrhea.
He also won 2 Targa Florios, 2 RAC Tourist trophies, 1 Le Mans 24-hour race, and a European championship in Grand Prix racing. This guy did a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine, like, even if you just think about the hours spent in races that he won, that's way more than you guys have hucked discs.
That's true.
And that's not even taking into account the races that he lost, too, because you lose more races than you win.
Yeah.
So, you guys, I want to see you hucking more in 2023.
I mean, that's a goal of mine as well.
I just broke my PR. I got a +1 stroke for 24 holes.
At Oak Grove. That's pretty damn impressive.
Wait. Disc golf has 24 holes?
This one in particular does.
Why?
Because it's at a huge-ass park.
Okay, keep going.
It's safe to say that Tazio Nuvolari knew what he was doing, but more importantly, he pioneered the technique that formed the foundation of what has become drifting. In 1935, Tazio penetrated deep into the heartland of the rising Nazi Empire and used this technique to defeat the Germans at the German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring, despite facing far superior cars like the Mercedes-Benz W25B and the Auto Union Type B. Both cars that we know very well.
Mm-hmm.
James, you have 2 of each.
I have 2 of each.
Yeah.
If anyone's
those
interested
are like $10
in
million cars.
Yeah.
While Tazio's P3 was bored out to over 3 liters specifically for this race, the Germans were sporting 4 and 5 liter 8 and 16 cylinder engines respectively. But it was Tazio's fearless approach and sliding style that propelled him to victory despite the power deficit, a feat that would leave a crowd of 300,000 Germans, including high-ranking members of the Nazi Party, stunned.
Yeah.
I am stunned.
Ich bin stunned.
It was such a novel approach to cornering that it was considered something of a trade secret. Even Enzo wanted to figure out why his driver was capable of these things that everyone else said was impossible. Back in a practice run for the 1931 Circuito del Tre Provence, Enzo observed and later described the technique, quote,
"At the first corner, I was certain that Tazio had taken it badly and that we were going to end up in a ditch. We were going to lose. I braced myself for a shock. Instead, we found ourselves at the beginning of a straight with the car pointing down it. At the second bend and again at the third, the same thing happened. At the fourth or fifth, I began to understand how he managed it. I discovered his secret. Nuvolari went into the bend in an unusual way, with the throttle wide open. He put the car into a controlled 4-wheel skid. He was gonna win."
Sound familiar? That same technique would be used and perfected by the likes of Sterling Moss in the 50s, Roger Clark in the 60s, and finally by the man who inspired the Drift King himself, Kunimitsu Takahashi.
It's terrifying going into a turn full throttle.
We've been driving on racetracks way more than we ever did before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've said it a bunch of times on the podcast because this is the only time I'm allowed to be myself. But I started filming videos sitting on a stool in a hallway. And now being brave is part of my job. And if I'm not brave, it's potentially career limiting. And I don't know how that happened.
I found a little clip here of a Grand Prix race at Monza with Tazio, and you can, in this one clip in particular, 2 German cars go around a bend here, quite slow looking, and then behind them comes Mr. Nuvolari in question. His rear end is sliding all over the place. It's not like a drift like we know today with like just smoking tires and everything, but it's oversteer. It's like, it's a power slide. Tires actually have more grip when they're sliding a little bit. I'm not sure how it works, but that's...
Like, is that like a technical thing? Or
That's
is that
like
what do you mean by
that's
that?
like a technical thing.
Or is that like a slow is fast, fast is slow?
No, it's like Adam was describing it to me when we were doing a track day with the Subarus, and that's why he's like, I wish the Subarus would slide a little more because we'd actually get a little more grip. But it's like not when you're like totally like crossed over, but like just 5% like slip gets you more.
Oh,
grip
because
on the
there's
tire.
a certain amount of energy
Yeah.
put into a tire, and sometimes you're asking the tire to do too many things at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you're asking a tire to stop, go, or turn at the same time,
It's going to do all poorly.
Yeah, it's the defeating whatever. There's a percent. It's out of 100. So yeah, if you can eliminate one of the things that it has to do, then you have more grip.
Yeah,
So,
if you like slip enough that your tires can kind of move freely, you can point them in the direction you want to go, and it probably gives you more control.
Well, no, it's like It's very hard to explain.
Yeah, I don't really understand it.
But Tsuchiya understood this about his tires and was able to exploit it better than anyone else because he was the only one doing it.
Yeah.
And that's how he won.
After those 5 Capiachanos, my rear end is really sliding around. That entire time we were talking about that, I was waiting to say that. Oh, also, to get back off the script and onto another tangent, motorcycle riders are good at racing.
Yes.
Because they're outside. Like Jeremiah is sometimes faster than Adam because he rides motorcycles, and the way that they're able to look at a track is just like different.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry's very fast.
Have you seen like old
Jeremiah's at the track right now.
dirt track racing on motorcycles when they're constantly
flat track racing.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's so cool.
Takahashi Kunimitsu was another motorcycle racer turned auto racing champion and the first Japanese rider to win a World Grand Prix. But an accident in 1962 led him to switch to four-wheel racing, a move that led to a class win at Le Mans, 4 All Japan Sports Prototype Championships, as well as wins in Japanese Top Formula, JTC, and JGTC during a career that saw him competing until he was nearly 60 years old before finally calling it quits in 1999.
Wow. Imagine the advancement over the course of your life.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the difference in race cars that you drive.
That's crazy.
Do you think he likes electric nannies?
Probably. I don't know.
Do you think Jimmy Hilton knows who he is?
Oh, 100%.
Jimmy is our PA, and he's a huge like JGTC fan.
Probably owns one of his cars.
Yeah, he probably is. But over that nearly 40-year career, it was Takahashi's time behind the wheel of one car that would change automotive history forever, the Nissan Skyline GTR.
Get her done.
AKA the Skyline Get Her Done. During the 70s, he and 2 other drivers, Moto Katano and Motoharu Kurosawa, were so successful in their GTRs that they became known as the Opama Works Miragasu.
They have the best names for guys that race. Their names are Moto.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Moto, and this is my friend Moto Haru. Oh, cool.
Moto Haru, how are you, dude?
Opama was Nissan's race car factory at the time, and Miragarusu means the 3 crows.
Whoa.
A concept in Japanese culture that's akin to the 3 Musketeers. Bro, I thought the crow was the coolest thing you could be. Shouts to Brandon Lee. But dude, we could be the 3 crows.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? It's the 3 crows coming back at you.
What's cooler than 1 crow?
3 crows.
Yeah.
They were unstoppable, and the trio led the GTR to dominate touring car series after touring car series, with Takashi himself piloting the Hakusuka GTR to its 50th victory in 3 years at the 1972 Fuji Grand Champion 300-kilometer race, cementing the car's place in automotive history.
Pretty sure we mentioned the race in like multiple episodes of Up to Speed over the years.
Yeah, if you guys don't know already, we do have a YouTube channel, and we upload videos all the time, and we talk about stuff like this there sometimes too. But it was the way Takahashi drove the GTR that caught people's attention, sliding through turns with no traction at any of the wheels, yet still remaining in total control. Most importantly, perhaps, he caught the attention of then 16-year-old Keiichi Tsuchiya, the future Drift King, then just a Drift Prince. At this point in our story, Keiichi already knew that he could drive, but he was running into roadblocks. And the biggest of them, often, very common in racing, was money.
Mm-hmm.
If you've listened to almost any episode of Past Gas, you know that racing costs money. Basically, you need to be like your dad's best friend, and your dad needs to be rich, or else you can't. That's why none of them have personalities. So racing costs money, but street racing is significantly cheaper, especially considering that at the time there were laws in Japan that prevented people from modifying their cars. So even if a driver wanted to customize their car with like wheels, they had to match the spec of stock stuff. That still exists in a lot of parts, most parts of the world. People talk about California being like really strict, but like in most places in Europe or Australia or
all the places that we think are like cool car places are like pretty bad.
Yeah,
like too
restrictive.
Yeah, if we think California is tough, like every spoiler has to be approved by like the government.
Yeah.
I don't with the government. So theoretically, this meant that all a driver needed to go street racing was a car. But in reality, people broke these laws quite a bit. If you're listening to the show, you know that, which meant the car culture in Japan remained largely underground, a place that Tsuchiya-san seemed most at home.
Because he had claws for digging.
He's a mole.
And his nose was very sensitive.
Post-war Bosozoku groups of the 50s and 60s concentrated mainly on appearance modifications, but the Hashiriya, the street racers Tsuchiya-san ran with, were more concerned with a little thing that we like to call performance, baby. At the time, different groups got different names depending on where they liked to race. Roulette Zoku took on the circular expressways of big cities. That's
a really cool name.
Hell yeah, dude. Drift Zoku hit bay areas and public roads, while Zero Yan Zoku focused on drag racing on straight roads. But the Rolling Zoku battled on the Touge. Narrow, winding mountain passes where ultimate speed didn't make as much of a difference. This is where Tsuchiya-san would make his mark.
Mount Kia.
Dude, what great branding.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like, that is insane. And I bet nobody's made any money off of any of that.
Which ones would you guys be in?
Dude, Roulette, I don't know about the style of racing, but Roulette Zoku
That's like,
sounds so
It
sick.
sounds super cool.
it sounds like the name of a mech, you know?
Mhm.
All these sound like big.
Zero Yan
robots.
Zoku?
Yeah.
Is that, like, I would watch that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I like that name the best because I like alliterations.
They're like mechs that turn into race cars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the main character's a nerd, but all the chicks like him for some reason.
No. I'm done making nerds heroes.
That's like
I'm done making nerds heroes.
That's like half of
Everything
anime,
bad
dude.
that's happened.
That's
for-
half of those shows.
for the-
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But everything bad that's happened in America and abroad since 2016 is because we're obsessed with making a nerd a hero.
Yeah.
So every nerd thinks he's a hero. You want to be a hero? Be a strong, hot guy with a cool
Yeah.
job.
Be a Chad. We're all about empowering nerds.
No, we're not.
I'm about empowering nerds.
No, you're not.
Yeah. Wink Wink Nation is full of nerds. And we are powerful.
We can talk about it on Wink Chan.
This episode of Past Gas is brought to you by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/pastgas and get on your way to being your best self. When you're at your best, you can do great things, but sometimes life can get you bogged down and you may feel overwhelmed or like you're not showing up in the way that you want to. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of you, because when you feel empowered, you're more prepared to take on everything life throws at you. Many a time in my life, I've felt overwhelmed and bogged down and feeling like I'm not really myself. That's why I like BetterHelp so much, is because once you can get past that, you realize how cool you are, how good you are at stuff, and how you can overcome these little obstacles. And talking to a therapist can really help you unlock that life hack. So if you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. I can't agree with that more. BetterHelp is so easy to get into. It's convenient, flexible, affordable, and entirely online. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/pastgas to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/pastgas. Big thanks to ShipStation for sponsoring this episode of Past Gas. A new year is full of possibilities, but when your e-commerce business is dealing with gift returns, late deliveries, and a mountain of customer emails, you can feel stuck. ShipStation helps you get there faster, whether you run a side hustle or a giant warehouse. You can keep customers happy and fulfill more orders than ever, all while cutting ShipStation costs and managing it all from a single dashboard. We do a lot of shipping here at Donut, whether it's a shirt or a stocky toy. Shipping is not easy, but if you can hire a company like ShipStation to deal with that, it makes your life a lot easier. And with a 60-day free trial, you basically can't go wrong. Over 130,000 companies have grown their e-commerce business with ShipStation. And 98% of companies that stick with ShipStation for a year become customers for life. Make the new year your best year and grow your business with ShipStation. Use promo code PASSGAS today at ShipStation.com to sign up for your free 60-day trial. That's ShipStation.com, promo code PASSGAS.
When you think of automotive legends, no one fits the bill quite like Keiichi Tsuchiya. We talk a lot about icons on this podcast, but how many of them can say that they have a manga or anime protagonist named after them? How many of them have worked as a stunt coordinator for the Fast and the Furious or have a bit part in Tokyo Drift? How many can say that they're so intrinsically tied to one car they helped develop its update? And how many can say they gave birth to a whole new style of motorsport? Tsuchiya-san can. Who can make a drift from a rainbow? Tsuchiya-san can.
Who can take a car and slide it around?
Tsuchiya-san can. Tsuchiya-san was born on January 30th, 1956 in Tomi, Nagano, Japan. Although he's known the world over, the Drift King is a fairly private person, perhaps due to his roots as an illegal street racer battling on the Touge. The word Touge means pass in Japanese and refers primarily to the mountain passes on which Touge racing takes place. Very kind of circular sentence there.
That kind of de-romanticizes the term a little bit.
Though today, it's like, oh, dude, like we're always like, want to go on like a Touge run? The Touge.
Like the Touge.
And it's like, you want to go on the road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when I found out Glendale just means valley. Glen and Dale are both just words for valley.
Yeah, and also like kind of like names for dudes that are kind of drips.
Touge racing is often done in a rally format with many cars following one after another, not racing side by side. Traditionally, though, Touge took the form of cat and mouse, or chase rules. This is when two cars follow closely as the lead car attempts to break away and the chase car attempts to overtake or at the very least stick with the lead car. If you gap the chase, you win. If you overtake or stick with the lead, you win. Then you switch. If there's a tie after 2 heats, a sudden death match determines the winner. Obviously, this is street racing, so the rules were never really official or even consistent, but one thing was always important: skill. High horsepower and top speed were nowhere near as important as skill. The tight turns of the Touge courses meant cars never got a chance to build up much speed, but the ability to speed through corners, as well as toss your car sideways so your opponent didn't have the opportunity to pass, was crucial. And this is where Tsuchiya-san shined brightest. And as Keiichi himself said, quote,
"Speed isn't everything. You got to look cool on the Touge.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. In fact, he was so good, so flashy, that he developed a cult following that led to a career in motorsport, starting with the Fuji Freshman Series in 1977, just 5 years after watching his idol pilot the GTR to his 50th win in 1972. He was only 21 years old.
Wow.
Dude, even the Fuji Freshman Series?
Yeah. That
sounds so sick.
Yeah, I want like a Letterman jacket with that on it.
Yeah, Fuji Freshman.
I could not pull it off.
No.
But let's so it looks great. I think that's like, it's one of the only motorsports where it's like the dressage of motorsport where like style really counts.
Mm-hmm.
Sliding around a corner is not the fastest way to get around a corner.
But sometimes it is.
Sometimes, depending on the surface.
Depending on how hard you slide.
Yeah. But you don't see like Formula One cars sliding. No. Normally, they're not supposed to be sliding. But in like rally, if you're going around a hairpin or something.
Formula One cars aren't cars.
That's true. But even like GT3 racing and stuff like that. But in like rally racing on dirt and stuff, the best way is to slide that car around because one, braking takes too long and it's faster.
But on a track, on a racetrack, you want to avoid sliding because grip is better.
Yes, that, it's like the exception to the rule that proves the rule, right? There are situations where a little bit of slide's good, but yes.
I definitely prefer like tighter, more technical tracks. Like I said earlier, becoming part of my job. There's some tracks like streets of Willow Springs and especially like Big Willow that you go so fast.
Yeah.
Like you're at like 110, 120 at some points, and I'd much rather focus on like Sonoma.
Sonoma was surprisingly tame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to Willow?
Compared to Willow, because
Willow's insane.
Yeah.
Willow's scary.
At Big Willow, yeah. But Streets of Willow, even one corner going over a hill, you hit it like at 100, and then you're going into a downhill braking zone.
Yeah.
It's fun, but very scary.
Yeah.
Sonoma, I think the top speed we reached was honestly like 90 or 95.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that layout.
Yes.
The legend of Tsuchiya-san and his connection to the AE86 Sprinter Trueno has grown so far out of proportion that it's hard to separate fact from fiction anymore. When most people think of Keiichi Tsuchiya, they picture him drifting up and down those Touge courses in his famous AE86, building up his reputation until he garnered enough notoriety to draw the attention of professional racing teams. If it sounds familiar, that's the plot of Initial D, and that was based on. But as we stated, Keiichi's racing career began in 1977, a full 6 years before the 86 would be introduced. As noted by Tsuchiya himself, his first car was actually a KPGC 110 Skyline, the second-gen two-door version of the GTR. The GTR was released in 1973, but was almost immediately retired due to the oil crisis. Donutmedia.com. Get yourself an oil crisis shirt. As connected as the GTR is with Nissan today, many are shocked to find that the car actually debuted under another marquee, the Prince Motor Company. Prince didn't make a GTR. They made a Skyline. As connected as the Skyline is to Nissan today, many are shocked to find out that the car actually debuted under another marquee, the Prince Motor Company. Prince started out as the Tachikawa Aircraft Company back in 1924, and after a slew of name changes and mergers, it eventually merged with Nissan in 1966, bringing with it the performance sedan that would eventually come to be named, with Tsuchiya-san's help, Godzilla. But his most noteworthy accomplishments with the GTR didn't come until the 90s, when his idol Kunimitsu Takahashi called upon Tsuchiya-san to join his new racing team, Team Kunimitsu. As fans of Japanese racing and Japanese cars know, the Skyline was retired in 1973, just as its second generation debuted. Only 197 of these were produced, and Tsuchiya-san was one of the lucky few to own one. But in 1989, Nissan revived the GTR with the R32 chassis with the explicit aim of dominating the Group A class. And when Takahashi formed Team Kunimitsu, Tsuchiya-san was on his short list of drivers to invite. The R32 GTR would go on to win every single race in the Japanese Touring Car Championship between 1990 and 1993. That's sick. You imagine how good you feel? That's like going undefeated for high school.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, we nailed it.
Yeah, oh, we won again.
Yeah.
So sick. Those Tsuchiya-san wouldn't join the team until 1992. At the end of the 93 season, Takahashi and Tsuchiya would go on to form their own race team, and 2 years later won the GT2 class at the 1995 24 Hours of Le Mans in a Honda NSX GT2.
What's the difference between like GT2 and GT3, GT4?
GT lower is more extreme.
Oh,
so the
really?
lower the number, the more extreme. It's like golf. Like F1 is the number one, F2 and F3.
Oh, yeah.
Usually it's like GT3 cars. I mean, it usually like power restrictions is kind of the thing.
Yeah.
Because usually, at least now, it's very hard to remember what the IMSA classes are called, but they have like a GT3 equivalent and then one above that.
Yeah.
And they're actually the same chassis and everything.
But less power restriction.
Less power. That's right.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then GT4 is like a lot less power.
Over the course of his career, Tsuchiya-san would drive many iconic cars. He drove a Sierra Cosworth to Japanese touring car championships, a Honda Civic in Super Touring Car Championships, and in 1999, he piloted a Toyota GT1 to another Le Mans class win, complete with a second place overall, and naturally, the fastest lap. But with a list of cars like that, it was a seemingly boring car that stayed tied to the Tsuchiya-san legend forever. The Toyota AE86 Sprinter Trueno.
Does that mean lightning or thunder?
Thunder.
Thunder. And then Levin is lightning.
And the thunder.
Donut's founder and my biggest mentor in my life, Matt Levin. It was like, one day I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Your last name means lightning. And we literally have shirts that say lightning, lightning, lightning on them. I'm like, wow, dude, that universe.
Yeah.
The universe is crazy, dude.
The universe is telling me.
We're all, did you even know that we're just made of stardust, dude?
You are the universe experiencing itself, bro.
Bro, like we are made out of particles that were in the Big Bang, dude.
You know what would be the most disappointing thing about meeting aliens is they probably don't have a sense of humor. Or it's like way different, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like bad traffic at Crablar 9, huh?
The same sense of humor with different specific reference.
And we're like, we don't get that reference.
Crablar 9.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's really bad traffic there.
It's space though.
And then to each other, like to help each other figure it, like out what they're saying. We're like, oh, it's probably like the 101, 110 interchange.
Yeah, and
they're like, what?
Yeah.
No, it's Crablar 9.
They're like, anyways, we're hungry.
You guys are dumb. Do you know where Dane Cook is? They're like, no.
That guy's funny.
Yeah,
that guy's
when he humps the
stool. We can relate to that. We got a lot of stools on our planet. Do you know where he is? We're like, no. He's like, oh, you don't know him? We're like, nuh-uh. He's like, shh. Why are we even here? We're like, we don't know. We were excited, but you guys honestly are kind of rude.
Why did we sit in all that traffic around Crablar 9 just so we couldn't meet Dane Cook?
I don't know.
He just got married.
I was like,
We think it's really cool how young his wife is.
the only website they get is like E-News.
Yeah, they only get
Anyway, we're talking about drifting.
Back in 1984, Tsuchiya's son won 6 races in his AE86 back to back and was so dominant that the organizers told him to let someone else win for a change. By the time he won an All Japan Touring Car Championship in 1985, there was no man more closely tied to the Trueno than Tsuchiya-san. His Hachiroku, which is Japanese for 86, became known as the little Hachi that could. Because it always did. The fact that it wasn't a supercar didn't matter to the fans because the way he drove it was more exciting, more engaging than anyone else on the track. It also didn't hurt Tsuchiya-san's reputation that while he was racking up them wins in professional circles, he was still racing illegally on the street. In fact,
can't get enough.
This guy doesn't take time off, man.
No, man. It's like, even though we're like podcast hosts and we host videos and stuff, we still do street hosting.
Yeah. Illegal street hosting.
Yeah, we still do
Illegal street hosting.
So, are you hosting? The cop comes over, shines a flashlight in your face.
No, I'm just my foot slipped.
Lawyer. I say lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I slip in my ID through the window crack and say lawyer. And that's
Lawyer. Zzz,
Lawyer.
zip it back up.
Talk to my
have zip up
producer.
windows on my car. This episode is brought to you by Magellalou's Zip Up Windows. Magellalou's since 1824. Tsuchiya-san's dedication to street racing almost ended his professional career, and it wasn't because he was getting caught. Actually, as he famously said himself, people make mistakes when their heartbeat rises. Whoa. It sounds like a Fall Out Boy song. When the police chased me, mine didn't rise at all. So I could get away.
That's badass.
Dude.
Sick as hell.
I don't like race car guys have the coolest quotes.
Yep.
People make mistakes when their heartbeat rises. No, his racing career was almost cut short thanks to his participation in a series of drifting documentary films made in 1987, Doriken Tsuchiya Keiichi, The Tuge, and Sendai no Nishi.
Send it, Nonishi. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
man.
send it.
Sound it.
Sound it, Nonishi.
Big thank you to our sponsor this week, Rocket Money. Say goodbye to last year's outdated, disorganized methods of managing your money. Say hello to Rocket Money, the best way to hack your finances in 2023. We always say we're going to do that. Every year it's like, I got to get my stuff in order. With Rocket Money, we're going to do it, okay? This is the time. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about, like that streaming service you bought to watch that one show on, or that free trial you never used, or my magazine subscriptions to Highlights. I can't believe I still get that. Luckily, Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions for you, so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want. No more long hold times with customer service, or tedious emailing back and forth, or in my case, handwritten letters. Too goofus and gallant. They actually operate the customer service at Highlights. It's amazing, but I gotta stop giving them money. Thank you, Rocket Money. Stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/gas. That's rocketmoney.com/gas. Again, rocketmoney.com/gas. When Tsuchiya-san first drifted through a pro race through the longest corner of the Fuji Speedway in the rain, fans gave him the title of the Drift King. But organizers wanted to suspend his license, and not just because of the legendary move. They also didn't like his participation in a little illegal drifting documentary called The Tuge by Pluspy. Though the film is often referred to as just Pluspy, that's actually the film's production company. The real name, The Tuge, speaks directly to Tsuchiya-san's beginnings in the racing world.
That's so funny.
I did not know that.
We all think it's called Pluspy because of the title card.
Yeah.
That's like thinking that like RoboCop is called New Line.
Yeah, Jurassic Park is Universal.
Yeah.
I love the Universal franchise.
Yeah, man. I love A24. It's my favorite movie.
This series of films, produced by Pluspy in 1987 and financed by tuning shops and magazines, introduced drifting to the world at large. The three short films showcase Tsuchiya-san tackling Tuge roads of Usui, Tsuchiya-san's home course, Gotemba, and the Highland Circuit, this time in Tsuchiya-san's very own AE86. Perhaps more impressively, the video shows Tsuchiya-san tackling these road courses during the day, giving a completely unvarnished look at his approach and skill, complete with overcorrections and spinouts.
They show the bloops.
They show the bloops.
Include the bloops. This series of videos was a huge influence on Judd Apatow. You include the bloops.
Yeah.
Did you ever see these tapes when growing up?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
I only learned about these videos like sort of as an adult.
Gotcha. Okay.
But by the time I liked cars, you could like order like option videos.
Okay.
So he was already like
way big.
The dude.
Yeah, the dude.
Yeah. Like the green jumpsuit that you mentioned at the top, like that's the first time.
That's it. Okay. All right. So all these tapes were very illegal to produce, and they were immediately removed from stores, and Tsuchiya-san's racing license was even suspended for a time.
Oh,
they
man.
didn't get the permits. That's all they needed. It's like $600.
That's a lot.
But the damage had already been done. Everyone was talking Tuge and wanted a taste of that sweet downhill speed. While Tuge groups already existed around Japan, the short life of the Tuge tapes was enough to inspire a whole new group of ne'er-do-wells, willing to risk life and license to emulate their new hero, Tsuchiya-san. And while finding original copies of these tapes is quite difficult, they're freely available on YouTube, the first appearing just a few short years after the platform debuted.
Well, you know it's freely available on YouTube as well? Dane Cook.
Dane
videos.
Cook.
Vicious Circle. Despite the censorship attempts, those who own the tapes were eager to share them with the world again as soon as the opportunity presented itself. Yeah, because you're going to get those views, baby.
You got to get them views. Got to hit the algo. Got to get them CPMs.
That CPM money.
Stands for clicks per money.
But perhaps more important than the driving itself was what was at the heart of the tapes. A little girl that climbs out of your TV and kills you. In the tapes, we hear Tsuchiya-san, a notoriously private person, discuss his thoughts, dreams, and ambitions, as well as little nuggets of wit and wisdom like, I
drift not because it is the quicker way around a corner, but it is the most exciting way.
And, we did get to see the introspections like that, but also the drifting's pretty sick, and I think that's probably why.
Yeah, it looks very cool.
We also see a brief history of his career. Here are his opinions on street racing, and though it's accompanied by what can only be described as music you'd find in a 90s corporate training video, the effect can't be denied. It's true, the music is interesting. As hard as the authorities tried to suppress them, two undeniable results came from the tape's short release. Tsuchiya-san was officially a legend, and a whole new generation of gearheads wanted to drift.
Dude, this is one of the most influential tapes ever since my sex tape got released.
Nice. Yeah. You and Ray J?
Me and Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
It's a great business decision, though.
Hey, man. I sell a lot of nail polish. No longer the sole arena of the illegal underground scene, drifting had come to the masses. A year before the Pluspy videos were released, Carboy magazine held its first amateur drift competition. And in 1989, shouts to Taylor Swift, Option magazine hosted the now infamous Ikaton event, in which Tsuchiya-san was a judge. Officially named Ikasu Hashiriya Team Tengoku. Sorry, okay? I don't speak Japanese. We're doing our best. Roughly translated to Ikasu Racer Team Heaven. Again,
so sick. Put that on a shirt. I would wear it.
Yeah, man. Somebody out there who has a shirt business, make it.
Mr. Haynes.
Mr. Haynes. Paging Mr. Abercrombie and Mr. Fitch. It was a very much run what you brung event at its start with no real rules, consistent judges, or structured scoring. Sounds a lot like drifting. There was scoring, but it came in the form of sea creatures. What? An inside joke based on Ika, translation to squid in Japan. Scoring went something like this. Okay, so jellyfish, a driver gets this for simply completing the course.
All right.
Great.
Nice, congratulations. I don't always do that. Sea urchin, a driver's attempted drift only breaks traction for a brief moment or spins.
That's like the participation award.
Uh-huh. Squid, a driver drifts from entry to the clipping point or from clipping point to exit. Octopus, a driver gets a peach-colored octopus if they can sustain a drift through the entire judge section.
Cool.
Or, guys, what you really are shooting for is a silver octopus.
Oh, okay.
That's when the driver gets this for a smooth and clean drift through the entire judge course section. That is a perfect
great.
score.
Silver Octopus sounds like a Metal Gear Solid character.
Are they talking about judged? That is really good. Like the silence or whatever.
Yeah, Silent Snake. Silver octopus.
The judged section, is that the entire course or just a turn that the judges are at?
I think it's the entire course.
Probably.
Okay.
That's what I would guess.
That's hard to link a whole course.
Not for us, dude. No,
Considering the first award is breaking traction.
Well, a course isn't an entire racetrack. It's the course,
Yeah, I know.
Everybody links that.
No, I know. Nowadays,
it's a silver octopus.
But I'm saying,
if everyone could do it, then everyone would have a silver octopus, and then who would want a silver octopus? You know what I mean?
I'm saying this early on that they're giving an award for breaking traction.
Dude, you're talking like a real sea urchin right now. Dude, you need to get that silver octopus mentality back, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Dude,
No more alphas, no more sigmas.
Yeah.
2023, silver octopus mindset.
You're either a jellyfish or a silver octopus, bro.
Yeah.
No in between?
Oh, well, yeah,
Look,
there's a lot
Joe,
of
in this
there's
world,
sea
there's
urchin,
only
squid,
silver octopus and urchins. And you don't want to be an urchin.
But dude, you're a silver octopus.
Yeah.
Don't forget it. Though the scoring system is fun and silly, much like this podcast, Tsuchiya-san took to it and continued the joke when he launched his own line of tuning parts. The squid and octopus were early mascots of his business. But the big thing that would come out of Iketan was the group drift contests. Teams of 5 drifting together around the track. It's the coolest looking.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
5?
Yeah, I wish there was like an element of FD where like the team, like there was like a team element. So like you competed individually, but then like as your team.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool. The closer and more synchronized that the drivers could keep their cars, the higher their scores. When it started, the teams were a mismatch of whatever cars people brought to the track. But as the event's popularity increased, teams started matching paint or even cars, which treated audiences to a procession of 5 identical drift machines dancing through turns with harmonious precision.
It's so awesome, especially when it's different models of cars, but have the same.
Yeah.
Right. Like at Grid Life, Falcon still runs all the scalloped livery cars, and there's like Mustangs and S15s and the RX-7.
I love it so much.
All together.
Yeah.
It's so
cool.
sick.
This is just a horse girl dressage for guys.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, dressage for guys.
Guys can do dressage too.
And girls can drive cars too.
Yeah.
After the release of the Touge tapes, hundreds of amateur drift competitions began springing up all over the world during the 90s, propelled by another cultural milestone that would help codify Tsuchiya-san's legend forever. A little manga titled Initial D. For those not familiar, Initial D is a Japanese street racing manga series written and illustrated by Shuichi Shigeno and serialized in Weekly Young Magazine from 1995 to 2013. It's been adapted into several anime and live action versions, and with over 55 million copies printed, it's one of the best-selling mangas in history. The story centers around Takumi Fujiwara, who delivers tofu for his father's store before sunrise every morning in his family's AE86, effectively doing his own Touge course across a mountain in the Kanto region. Tsuchiya-san was brought on as an editorial supervisor thanks to his close ties to the AE86 and the fact that many believe Tsuchiya-san inspired the character of Takumi. Thanks to his close ties to the AE86 and the fact that many believe that Tsuchiya-san inspired the character of Takumi.
It's pretty undeniable.
Takumi.
Yeah, Takumi. When it came time to make an anime adaptation, Tsuchiya-san made his personal AE86 available to make sure that the vehicle in the show sounded authentic.
That's sick.
Cool.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the cars are so cool in it, and the way they're animated just looks great, even now.
Can I make an admission here on the podcast?
Yeah, this is a safe space.
No, it's not.
I don't really, I couldn't really get into the show. It's very melodramatic. I'm sorry. I've watched like the first season, but after that, it's like
It's good. It's like at least the first season, but most of Initial D is just explaining the dynamics of a certain setup of a car,
which I like.
Where
That's
it's
cool.
like it's Takume learning along with the audience. It's like, oh, how do you do that? It's like, well, he has a front engine, front wheel drive car, and here's how front engine, front wheel drive cars drive, and oh, he has a front engine, rear wheel drive car with a lot of power. Here's why he drives like this. You have a front engine, rear wheel drive car with not a lot of power, so here's how you should drive. Oh, how did that guy do that? Well, his car's got all wheel drive and a turbo. It's like, wow.
It's cool.
And Initial D is the reason we did Up to Speed.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically just like, here's how this works. Now you know, and here's some jokes around it.
Yeah, basically
I'm not saying
the
it's bad. It's
audience
just
guy.
I'm not really an anime person, I guess, is the problem.
Would you say the audience guy?
Well, the Wink Chan thread on
Wing
this is
Chan
gonna be
has a
insane.
very active anime community, yeah.
Yeah, don't go on it.
Don't go on it. They don't like you.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah, they don't like you on Wing Chan.
Some assumptions being made on that site.
We like to swat people
Yeah, you're
we
getting.
don't agree with.
Since then, drifting has gone on to influence everything from the Gymkhana series made by our buddies Hoonigan to the Fast and Furious franchise. Tsuchiya-san was a consultant and has a tiny part as the fisherman in Tokyo Drift.
I guess he was also in Mario Kart.
He's not in Mario Kart. Inspired.
Oh. Yeah, why did I say that?
He also influenced Mario Kart.
The character of Mario is actually based on
The
Yeah.
character, yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Mario's always talking about spicy tofu.
Mm-hmm. That's why he smokes cigarettes all the time.
The year after Initial D was first released, in 1996, Option Magazine hosted one of the earliest recognized drift competitions outside of Japan at Willow Springs Raceway in California. It saw legends like Tsuchiya-san, NHRA drag racing veteran Kenji Okazaki, and Option founder Daijiro Inada passing judgment over drivers like drift and rally champion Reese Millen. Since then, competitions have sprung up on nearly every continent, and in the year 2000, Tsuchiya-san again brought the amateur world into the professional realm. The D1 Grand Prix, otherwise known as Professional Drift, was launched in 2000 after Tsuchiya-san and Daijiro Inada, founder of Option and the Tokyo Auto Salon, spent years hosting amateur and professional drift events like those mentioned above. And of course, we can't finish this episode without mentioning our own drift series in the U.S., Formula Drift, one of the key foundation blocks of this channel. I mean, in the early days, we worked with so many Formula Drift drivers. We've been to a ton of events. I love going to FD Irwindale and Long Beach. If you can make it to Long Beach, treat yourself.
I'm going to try and go to Englishtown this year.
That'd be sick, too. Yeah, that looks like a
Because Matt
really
lives
fun one.
in
Yeah.
around there. And yeah, that's like, Englishtown is, some might say, the motherland of U.S. drifting.
Mhm.
A lot of the guys that participate in FD right now and historically are from like that area,
Yeah.
and that's like the track that it all happened on.
So get out to a FD event, support Donut driver Adam Knapik driving in Pro Spec with the Donut Media car.
What started out in Japan has spread all over the world into a truly global professional motorsport, bringing drifting full circle. And perhaps that's the most interesting thing about the story of drifting. Despite what most people believe, drifting didn't start on the street and then graduate to motorsport. It started as a move on the track, bled out into the street racing scene, and then became so popular that it created its own motorsport. As for Tsuchiya-san, he started out as an illegal street racer and ended up with a class win at Le Mans. I mean, that's the dream.
That's the dream.
That's the dream. Wow. Dude, that's some silver octopus shit.
That's like how Dane Cook started doing illegal comedy on the street. and then he was selling out arenas.
Yeah, dude, he played in Madison Square Garden.
He did.
And then nothing bad happened. He's still popular.
All right, we got some fan mail this week. This is from Scott down in Melbourne.
Dude, that's your
Australia.
dad's name.
This is my dad's name.
Dude, what's your dad doing in Melbourne?
It's chilling.
I rock with Scots all around the world, dude. If your name's Scott, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, Scott says, hey guys, you said in a recent episode this is not a metal podcast, but it can be. There's so many car-related songs in heavy metal. There's Big Truck by Coal Chamber. Have you guys heard that one? Big Truck. It literally just says Big Truck. It's fun. It's a fun song. Fuel by Metallica, of course.
I know that one.
Classic. Under My Wheels by Alice Cooper.
Dragula by Rob
Dragula,
Zombie.
yes. Anyway, and we can't go past Pantera being named after Dimebag's car, the De Tomaso Pantera.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. man. Keep up the good work, and please no bad Aussie accents.
Nah, we can't promise that.
We can't, no. I won't budge on
No
that.
deal.
Those are staying.
Yeah, it's Scott from
No
Melbourne.
deal, Scott.
All right, thank you for your email, Scott. And if you'd like to get in touch with the show, hit us up at passgas@donutmedia.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Follow James at James Pumphrey. Follow Joe at Joe G. Weber. Follow me at Nolan J. Sykes. Big thank you to our producers this week. Again, Christina Felsky and Gavin Kinzel. And our writer,
Mike Perkins.
This episode comes out on January 9th at 3 p.m. I will be doing an AMA on Wink Chan. I hope you guys join. Joe's going to be there too.
I'm a moderator.
Oh, yeah, you're a moderator.